Hi, good morning everyone. I'm Kristin Omdahl and welcome back to Yarn on the Beach. This is episode 149 and we're here in Southwest Florida at Vanderbilt Beach watching the sunrise over the buildings and the trees to the east, and this is the Gulf of Mexico behind me. If you're joining me live, please say hello and tell me what you're crafting on this morning. Hi Cebu. And if you end up watching the recorded version, please also feel welcome to say hi and tell me what you're working on, because I make a point to reply to all of the recorded comments as well. Good morning, Elisa. Hi, Sarah Mae. Hi, Connie, Jenny. Thank you all for joining me this morning. Hope you're having a good start to your day. Good morning, Jane. She's starting a shell bag with Be So Bear. Awesome. Hi, Faye. Hi, Letty. Sarah Mae didn't get the early reminder this morning. I don't know why. Good morning, Donna. Hi, Jolene. Hi. Good morning, Cindy, Judy, Lisa. Yes, Lisa, I just saw your order. Awesome. The face cream, for those of you who are waiting, I made a big batch of my Be So Young face cream yesterday, and it is back in stock in my shop. So anybody who is interested in getting a new order of face cream, it is ready to go. Lisa has already ordered hers. Thank you very much. Hi Audrey, thanks for joining me live. Morning. Yep, I do a live stream podcast for my followers on YouTube. Yep, and I share the sunrise with them. Yeah. Have a great day. Thanks. Hi Monica, hi Melissa, hi Anna Maria. So for those of you who remember what I was working on yesterday, I was working on this square motif with single crochet worked in the round. And I was talking about how any stitch can be made into a square motif. The trick is knowing what rate of increase to do in the corners based on the height of your stitches. So for single crochet, which for all intents and purposes is the shortest stitch, I suppose slip stitch is even shorter than that, but I don't always, I'm not sure what you're talking about for Googling Yarn on the Beach. If you want to ask me a question with, I guess you're asking each other, but if you want to ask me too, if I can help with something, I will. But anyway, so depending on the height of the stitch, you need a different rate of increase in the corners. And so to take a simple single crochet in the round, turning it into a square, you'll do 3 single crochets in the corner stitch. So I'll show that corner up nice and close too. And it makes this perfect little square. Next I'm going to do this particular width, but I'm also going to do it in rows. You can see the difference between working a stitch in rows and rounds. Interesting also thing to mention is that, you know, when you're working a sweater in the round or something that has to, so like if you're working a sweater in the round from the waist up, you would work in the round, but then when you have to split for the front and back, you end up having to work rows. And something that to keep in mind is if that's going to be the case in a project you're working on, you will know the difference between what a stitch looks like worked in rows versus with the right side always facing versus working in, I said that backwards, working in rounds with the right side always facing, or working in rows where you alternate the side. If that's going to be the case in a pullover, like that happens to be something that I'm working on right now, what I'm doing is in the round section, if it's going to be the same stitch as in the row section, you want to make sure that in those rounds you change direction every round. So even if you're working in the round, you would chain one and turn your work, or whatever chain you were doing to start the round. You would turn your work even if you don't need to, so that the texture of the fabric will be identical between rows and rounds. If anybody has any questions about that, please feel welcome to ask me, because it is an important tip for making a project look more put together. And it's something you wouldn't necessarily think of when working a garment, or something that switches from rows to rounds within one project. And I just happen to be working on one like that right now, so I thought it was a good time for that reminder. Everybody's still saying hello. I guess I jumped the gun and started talking tech talk early. I was excited. Okay, I may as well count my stuff too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Cebu's asking what I'm working on. I am working on a swatch of single crochet. I did a swatch of single crochet in the round, creating a square yesterday, and today I'm going to do single crochet in rows to show you the difference between working in the round with the right side always facing, and working in rows where you alternate right side and wrong side facing, to show you how different even just simple single crochet can look based on what side faces you when you're working the stitch. And this is really important to know when working a project that alternates between working in rows and rounds. Laren likes my tips. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yep, there's a swimmer here today. You're right. And we're not even at the beach where we normally see the regular swimmers. It is a beautiful morning here, Donna, and this is the beach that has the crystal clear water that we eventually at some point this summer will hopefully see the nursery of baby nurse sharks. I looked down there this morning. I didn't happen to see one. We might have to start going for walks in the morning to find them. I talked to my friend the other day who I witnessed the shark nursery with, and she seems to think that it was a little later in the summer when we have found them, July, August. But I will definitely be on the lookout for it because I really want to share it with all of you. There aren't a lot of shells at this beach. This beach is a lot different than Bonita Beach. This is Vanderbilt Beach. The sand is less coarse, but still on the coarse side compared to other beaches in the area, but there are very few shells here. The water is much clearer at this beach too. In fact, we can pop down there and I'll show you in a few minutes. Just want to finish my row. Show you what the beach, I'll show you all sides of the beach too. It's pretty quiet down here. Yeah, I saw the, yep, someone's floating out there. Yep. Well, and if I don't get far enough on this swatch, definitely can show you the contrast to them, between them tomorrow. Hopefully I'll have a little more progress then. In a couple rows I should. Oh, I have another tip for beginners with rows of single crochet too, but we'll talk about that in a minute. Okay, let's look. Oh, we've got a big bird down here too. We've got, I think it's a crane or something like that. You see that? Or it could be a blue heron. See that really tall bird at the edge of the water? Oh, he's taken off. I'm not a huge bird expert, so I don't really know what he is, but it could be a blue heron. If anybody wants to correct me, please feel welcome to do so, because I am the first to admit that I am not a bird expert. Okay, here's the beach to the south of us. That is the Ritz-Carlton Hotel, and they're setting up all sorts of fun stuff. They've got paddle boards. There's the stand-up paddle boards. Lawn chairs getting set up behind that. Fun summer job, huh? Being able to set all that up. Here's the big fireball in the sky coming up in the east. The beach to the north of us. Pretty quiet this morning. Looks like there's another beach club setting up chairs down there as well. And the water is so calm today. Now I want to show you how, oh no. Oh, what did I do? I just broke Dolly the Wonder Wagon. not that I was being totally lazy, but I put all my weight on it to help myself stand up, which is a lazy move, and I bent the piece of metal that holds this in there. So I think it's fixable. Probably not fixable with my bare fingers. I don't think I'm that strong to bend the metal back in place. Dang it. That's what happens when you're tired and lazy. Not that I'm lazy, but I'm tired and leaned on it a little too heavy. Anyway, so go down to the water's edge, and you can see how incredibly crystal clear the water is here today. Can you see the little baby fish in there, little minnows? Here, I'll turn the camera around so we can see the same thing. A little seaweed in there. But can you see how incredibly crystal clear the water is? And when we do see the nurse sharks nursery, it will be literally right here just inside the edge of the water. And I'll just show you my feet so you can see how crystal clear it is. I'm in 6 inches of water here, and you can see completely straight through to my feet. I'll get out of the shadow, I guess. There, now you can see it. I love it when the water's clear like that. The water's super warm too, but I heard some really good news about that last night. Our water temperature in the Gulf is unusually low for this time of year, which is really good news hurricane season wise. But it's still warm and it's still hurricane season, so time will tell. But here's hoping that being slightly cooler than normal will make it a good year or a mild year for hurricanes. Fingers crossed. Does anybody have any questions? My whole body gets salty from sitting at the beach, Grace. The salt is just in the air, absolutely. Thanks, Sarah. I did 2 French braids this morning, but I did a side part instead of a center part. Hi, Ava. Hi, Edna. Hi, Sherry. I don't know. No one's seen KB yet this morning? I don't know. Yes, I hope so too, Lisa. Thanks. Oh, Elisa's saying she had so much fun at Knitting and Crochet Club last night, and everyone got to meet Faye Hansen last night. Faye came to our local Knitting and Crochet Club, and it was fun. She got to meet everybody and got to hang out together. It was fun. Oh yeah, and we did have a big storm there last night, didn't we? It got even worse after you left, Faye. Oh, there's KB. She's here. Everybody was worried about you, Karen. I was combining your name and Faye's. I was going to call you Kay. Sorry. Hi, Sydney. Hi, Terry. Thanks for joining me. At the club last night, some people were working on the Morgana shawl and other people were working on all sorts of stuff. And one of our members was starting the Morgana shawl, and she's new to crochet, and she was having trouble getting started with Be So Fine yarn. And like I love telling people when they're learning something new, pick one thing to learn at a time when it feels overwhelming. So we decided to have, I suggested and she agreed, to practice the stitch work on a thick yarn first, and then when she understands how to do the row repeat for the Morgana shawl, then we'll come back and learn it on the finer yarn, because both things have a learning curve to them. Learning new stitches, learning new charts, learning new combinations and new ways to increase has its own learning curve, and then separate from that, learning how to work with fine yarn has its own learning curve. I've actually taught classes at conventions on just how to work with fine yarn before. Which yarn is better for the tassel earrings? Definitely Be So Fine yarn. That's my favorite yarn for doing earrings. The tassel earrings were done in that yarn, and so were the fine chandelier earrings. Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, anytime if you're learning how to bead and learning a different weight yarn, definitely try only add one new element at a time when you're learning. It'll make the process go so much smoother for you, and there'll be so much less anxiety and stress about it. When you can learn one thing at a time, it's just a lot easier to learn new stuff. Unless you're someone that just likes to dive in and don't care. I mean, everybody learns differently, but I think that when you're struggling with learning something new, it's always a good idea to take a step back and see if you're learning more than one thing at a time, and try to strip it down to just learning one thing. So if you're learning a new weight of yarn, learning a new technique, so let's say you're doing a top-down construction sweater and it's in a stitch that you've never done before, and so you're feeling a little overwhelmed by doing increases and doing a new stitch and working in the round and maybe even a new yarn. I would definitely go and practice that stitch on a yarn weight that you're comfortable with first. Donna says she has no sound, and Edna said she has connection issues. Can anybody let me know if it's them or what? I'm not getting any warnings here. Jane, I'm sure that you could make tassels with cardboard, just like you can make pom-poms with cardboard. The tools just make it easier. I actually find them to make it a lot easier and more enjoyable because it's easy, and a lot easier to make them uniform. But if you don't want to buy the tools, you can definitely DIY just about anything. So that is certainly optional. Sherry wants to know what tool I use. I use the Boye, B-O-Y-E tassel maker, and I have a link to it in on the pattern page where you learn how to make the tassels. I shared it there. Okay, lots of people are having no issues, so maybe it is just on anyone's individual end. Rebooting sometimes helps. Good morning, Sebastian. All right, thanks for the feedback, everyone. So if anyone has any tips for anyone having troubles, please feel welcome to share them. I'm afraid I don't have much experience on the other end of the camera. Okay, we've got a few rows going here of the single crochet, so it's going to be fun to show you the comparison. Thanks, Cindy, sorry. No, Kimberly, I don't actually prefer Boye hooks. I prefer the Susan Bates style of crochet hooks. I've been using Susan Bates Silvalume, which is their anodized metal. It has like a sparkly metallic finish to it. Not sparkly, but metallicized finish to it. And I've been using those since day one. I do like a nice bamboo hook every now and then, but when it comes to speed, there's nothing like the Susan Bates Silvalume for me. But having said that, there is no, I would never tell somebody that it's better to use one or the other, depending on how you hold your yarn or what your preferences are. Whatever works for you is great. I prefer metal over plastic. I like bamboo sometimes, but it usually depends on the way the hook is positioned. So if it's positions like the Susan Bates, I love them and they work well for me. Tulip hooks I like too. They're like, in my opinion, they're like a hybrid between the Susan Bates and the Boye. But again, it's just personal preference. Whatever you like is fine. Kimberly, I have shared links to the Susan Bates hooks that I use in my Amazon shop if you want to see the sets that I have. They come in two different sets, this tiny set and then the larger set. I don't mind the plastic ones for the larger sizes because I feel like you have to go slower when you're doing like the big fat sizes, so that doesn't bother me. I also have a link to a Tunisian cabled set that's bamboo that I just recently bought that I love. I have a link to that in the shop as well. So if you're interested in seeing which ones I like, they're there. But again, that doesn't mean that what anybody else uses is wrong or bad, because it definitely is personal preference as well. And you know how I feel about that. I don't like to tell anybody that what they like is bad. There's enough judgment out in the world. It's not going to come from me about knitting and crochet. You get enough of that elsewhere. You don't need to get it here. I don't care if you knit continental or if you knit the other way. I don't care if you tie your crochet hook, tie your yarn to your crochet hook one way or the other. It's all good. If it makes your heart happy to create with yarn, that's all that matters, right? That's all that matters to me. I don't care what kind of yarn you use. I don't care what kind of hooks you use. I just care about being nice to each other. And I have missed a bunch of questions while I went off on my little rant, sorry. But it's important to me to remind everybody that we're more alike than we are different, and it's more important to be nice to each other. Hi, Terry. Yes, I live by the golden rule, Sarah May, absolutely. And I sleep well at night because of it. Oh, thanks, Lynn. Thanks, Sherry. Thanks, Karen. I'm glad you agree, Mary. Well, what's awesome is I think that like attracts like, and so because I'm vocal about those things, the fact that all of you come here and stay here means that you feel the same way, and so when we have new people that come to the group, they feel the love too. So I think that's really wonderful. Thank you, Lisa. I'm so glad you love my yarn. Well, Ava, if you're ever in North Naples, you are more than welcome to come to the group. You'd love it. Everybody's so nice at our Knitting and Crochet Club. Everyone's so supportive of each other and nice, and we have a lot of fun. We get a little loud too, but that's okay. Last night we were joking that it was possible we could get kicked out of a Panera Bread for being too loud because we were laughing so much. And how funny is that? Wouldn't that be a funny story? The knitters and crocheters got kicked out of a Panera Bread for having too much fun. Okay, so we've got rows of single crochet here, and I want to show those to you in comparison to rounds. And this is the same yarn, same size crochet hook, and here are the rounds where the right side is always facing, and here are the rows where you turn your work so you're facing right side, then facing wrong side. You know what else would be interesting to do? When I finish this swatch, I'll come back and do this swatch, but I'll change direction at the end of every round so that you can see this texture in this shape, and I think that'll really drive home what I'm trying to say about the texture. So we'll do all three. Might as well. I think it's the best way to demonstrate what I'm trying to say. And I actually like swatching. And if I make all the swatches the same size, I could probably put them together and make something at the end anyway. And how fun would that be? I'll make a single crochet sampler of something. Laughter is great medicine, absolutely. I also used foundation single crochet for my starting chain here instead of a regular chain, and it makes it a little bit stretchier and not as tight. So it'll be interesting if I do another swatch showing a chain at the beginning. You'll see how that changes the fabric as well. What I don't like about a starting chain, especially if you're going to work from one end to another, is that it'll be tapered and it won't be a perfect square because it'll never stay the same width or the same gauge in a chain as it does in stitches. So let's say if I was doing a scarf, I would not be happy with the ends not being the same size. So what I would do is either start with a foundation single crochet instead of a chain so that as I went they would stay symmetrical on both ends, or if I had to start with a chain, I would make this the center of the scarf and work out in both sides. If anybody has any questions about that, please feel welcome to ask, because it's a really important design element, even if you're going to make something as simple as a single crochet scarf. And I got to tell you, I love simple stitch work. How pretty would that be for a scarf or a cowl? You don't need to do fancy stitches to make things beautiful. Sometimes just that simplicity of single crochet, whether you're doing a cowl or a hat in the round like that, or a scarf in rows like that, how pretty is that? And we were also talking last night at Knitting Club. I was talking to one of the ladies. This was an interesting thing she brought up. She likes to use knitting and crochet for stress relief, but she finds that in really stressful times, sometimes she ends up setting her work down and not knitting and crocheting at all. And you know what we realized last night? She doesn't keep mindless Zen projects around for those times because she's really excited about learning new things, and we do so much work together at the club to teach her new stitches and to really broaden her horizon, where we realized she needs some Zen projects to have at home for when the stress really hits. And so something like this is the perfect thing to have around when you need to pick up and concentrate on your breathing or concentrate on letting things go. It's so, I mean, knitting and crochet can be such an incredible stress reliever as long as the project is easy. And I thought that that was a wonderful epiphany that we came to together last night, and I was so excited to be able to share it with all of you, because how easy is it to forget stuff like that, right? I thought I heard a funny splash. Maybe not. Gosh, the water's so pretty today. Laren says her foundation crochet stitches don't turn out that well. I do have videos on making foundation single crochets. I have a giant crochet stitch library playlist here on YouTube, as well as on a page called How to Crochet on my website. And I think that it might really benefit you to watch that video a few times. There's more people swimming? Oh, there's a stand-up paddle boarder over there too. Don't know if he's in camera yet, but he's coming. There's a baby too. Oh, over there. Yes, yes, yes. I didn't look around far enough. Yes, Laren, I highly recommend watching those videos. If you have trouble locating them, please send me an email. All technical questions are best answered at projectkristincares@gmail.com. So that would be the place to contact me for stuff like that. Oh, thank you, Kimberly. This is one of my Amazon dresses. I am so in love with this tank top style dress. I pretty much wear them every day. But this time of year, it's so hard to not want to wear a simple sundress in the heat. And because of that seamed waistband, I just really feel put together when I leave the house. I don't feel like I'm wearing a nightgown. It feels put together. My new set of what, Lisa? Missed a couple. My screen's gone dark because I still need to get some shade for it. It's overheating, so I'm sorry it's having trouble reading the comments, but I missed a few. If your question is important, please feel welcome to ask it again. Oh, okay, bye, Faye. We will see you when you get back to California. Have a safe trip home tomorrow. And hopefully you come back down to visit soon. Well, it looks like we're almost out of time anyway. So I'm going to pack up my little bits of yarn here. Oh, I was going to talk about the Jordana cowl today. I guess we'll save it for tomorrow. I was actually thinking it would go well with my outfit today too. This is one of the pieces from my book, Motif Magic. It's it, and set our intentions for the day. could sit here all day. But I can't. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy day to spend a few minutes here with me. I hope you enjoyed the sunrise, the sound of the waves, the colors of the beach, chatting with me and everyone else here. Let us make time to create, share, and inspire today and every day. I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.